Hi, I'm Jessie Walters from Charles Rutenberg. I'm here today with Steve Williams, attorney at law. Thank you for joining me again.
Pleasure, Jessie. Thank you for calling me Steve. I appreciate that.
Not Steven, people.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah. Yeah, I even wrote that down so I did not mess it up like last time.
You did great. Thank you so much.
No problem. So we were talking, I talked to a lot of different buyers and sellers, and we talk about just different issues that are needed, I think, to go forward as far as like life, not just life skills, but like the setup of your life, which I always think of a will. And then I deal with a lot of people that forget their will. Well, I don't deal with them but I deal with what they leave behind, which is the probate. So I want to talk to you about that today. Yeah.
You're selling a lot of houses in estates?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot. I'll bet we had 10 houses in the last 3 months that were sold in estates.
Yeah.
It's a busy market. Thank goodness the houses are selling quick.
Yeah.
So we can liquidate the assets, give them to the
Fast.
beneficiaries, and they're very happy to see that.
Yeah, that is good.
Especially the charities.
Oh, yeah, if it's going to. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I just had one, and it was updated. I'm selling it currently, and it was in probate, and they had put in but it went so fast that my buyer said, when is it going to be out of probate? And I said, it's already out of probate. So we were all ready to go, and it's all clear. A lot of people might not know why it would have to go in probate, and what that actually, what it means.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So tell us about that.
What would you like to know?
Well, okay. So,
all right, so we'll start.
Okay.
And then you can kind of ask me questions as we go along. How about that?
That sounds good.
Okay. Because you didn't write any stuff down, I see, about that stuff.
I have a whole list here.
Okay. All right. Well, so why does something go into probate? If a person owns something in their own name, and when they die, then the asset transfers according. If they have a will, then the asset transfers according to the terms of the will.
Right.
And it transfers. First off, what you do is you file with the court a petition to determine the validity of the will. That's probate.
Right.
Probate is determining the validity of the will. So that's the start. Then you ask them to administer the estate according to the terms of the will. You appoint a personal representative. The personal representative has the authority to act on behalf of the estate to liquidate the assets, and the personal representative is the one, as you know, Jessie, that sells the house.
Right.
So why does something go into probate? Well, it starts when someone dies.
Right.
And if they have assets that are in their name alone.
Right. And what's that's one of my questions. If someone has $500 in their checking account, probably not going to go to probate, right? Because it's going to.
Well, somehow it has to transfer to the beneficiary, right?
Right.
If it doesn't, then it goes to the state of Florida.
Right.
There are different levels of probate. I had something similar to that happen the other day. Someone called. They had a bank account that was $800 or $900, and there's a real simple probate. The problem is the filing fee to open up the probate sometimes can be as much as the asset that you're trying to liquidate.
Yeah.
So, and some folks then that they don't want to get involved with that, but those small amounts that you're talking about, those are pretty much handled out at the courthouse by the individuals themselves.
Right.
But if you have a house, like is your business, and the person owns it alone, that's important. Because if there's somebody else on the deed, then that may affect what's going to happen with the asset when they die.
Right.
But if it's in their name alone, then the only way to transfer it from them to the beneficiary is probate.
Right. Yeah, so in the state of Florida, if you have, so this is a funny story, totally off subject, but kind of on subject. My grandparents, so my grandmother and grandfather, my grandfather passed away, and he left, my grandma's still alive, he left the house to the Catholic Church. And so, but my grandma was still residing in the house, so it was kind of awkward. She had to get.
That was his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she
got to stay for her life.
Yeah, so she got she got the asset back, but had to get an attorney to get the asset back, and then she sold the house, and she didn't leave it to the Catholic Church after all that. But I think they were kind of lenient with her, but it was.
They knew.
Yeah.
In Florida, the homestead has limitations on whether or not you can give it to somebody if you have a spouse or minor children.
Right.
You can't give it when you die if you have a spouse or minor children.
Yeah.
So that's where that came in.
Yeah, and it was kind of funny. Well, it wasn't funny, but it was kind of like, where's Grandma going to go if you know what I mean? If you give her house away.
Well, and that's what that's designed for, is
Yeah,
so that
it's
people don't
protected.
get, spouses especially.
Yeah.
There was, the story that I heard was that it was to keep husbands from, philandering husbands from giving away the house to their paramour.
Oh my gosh.
So, so they came up with this law that said, okay, you can't throw the poor spouse out in the
Yeah,
street.
that's horrible. Yeah.
So
Oh my.
that's probably just lore.
Yeah.
But it makes for a good story.
Wise tale. Yeah, yeah. But no, it was good. I know. Well, too, homestead,
There's three
protects
kinds.
you.
There's three levels of homestead.
Right.
Remember, there's can you sell the homestead? There's the homestead exemption that you get
Right.
for taxes,
Right.
which is what most everybody's familiar with.
right.
And then there's the homestead that's actually for asset protection.
Yeah.
So I don't really know the dates for getting homestead exemption for the tax issue.
Yeah,
But I'm sure
it's-
you do.
Yeah. I think this year was March 31st. The
So-
deadline's already passed. But
It's an important date.
yeah. Yeah. I remind all my, new buyers to either, if they've transferred their homestead from one property to the next or to refile,
And that's a complicated, I don't get into that, but that's a complicated decision.
to
The
file that.
portability, whether
Yeah.
or not you want to transfer it, right?
Yeah.
You need to do a calculation, a mathematical calculation
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, and a lot of times, they're pretty good with helping you with the, transfer to tell you what's best for you
Do
as
they?
far as, yeah, but you have to realize that if you owned a house, like I have one right now, he purchased a home is like 1970.
Mhm.
He lived there their whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his wife. The wife passed away. He wants to go buy a new home,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "Well, my taxes go up." With this, just a simple yes or no. Yes, your taxes are going to go up, whether you have the portability or not. Your
Right.
taxes are going to go up because they're in Tampa. You know what I mean? And so it's just unheard of his taxes and everything. So I just told him, yeah, and he's like, "How much?" And when again, they have the thing online that you could, the actual
Calculator?
the appraiser office homestead. You can put the whole calculation in there and get a number.
Oh, wow.
But then, Pasco has a real
That's
nice.
pretty handy.
Yeah. The only thing is, I hate to quote that because it's not like I hate to be responsible and say your taxes are going to be 1,800 and
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
then
And then more.
because when you purchase a pre-owned home, they reassess it right then. That's
Right.
when the only time that they can reassess is
Right.
when that property,
Right.
unless you don't have homestead, then you can get it assessed every year. I think they cap it 3%, but anyway, they
Yes.
yeah, so
Save your homes.
yeah, so you basically that calculation, the number you're taking and you're looking at it on the property appraiser office and you're saying, well, I'm going to sell this home and the tax collector says 220 and we're going to minus out your homestead exemption and you got your portability and we come up with this number. Well, when it resells right now, everything is crazy. It could be 280 and so that whole calculation is incorrect. So I don't like to
But
quote.
you know the new number because nothing's selling for below value
Yeah,
right
exactly.
now, right?
Yeah,
Everything's
no.
selling for value plus.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's a super great market for sellers, My
It's
poor buyers, but
unbelievable.
yeah.
What's the strategy if you had someone who was selling their house that they bought it a long time ago and the purchase price was low, and now it's appreciated beyond their wildest dreams? These folks that want to sell, does it really make sense to buy?
Yeah, so there's two things I always say. You want to sell, it's an awesome market, but do you have a place to go to? Because
Yeah.
I can't guarantee, even with new construction right now, there's bidding wars on new construction. So I cannot guarantee that I'm going to have a place. Do you have a relative? Do you have a backup plan? That's what I say. Because I'm like, I don't want you
It's
in
an
a
issue.
hotel
an
and
issue.
U-Haul truck with all your stuff and you're mad at me. I'm going to have to tell you the whole story. And the whole story is, can I get you the top money out of your house? Yes. Can I get you above? Yes. But then what's your plan? Like, we're going to go look for houses, but if we don't get you one, what's the backup plan? Do you have a good relative? I always say, do you have a rich aunt? Yeah. So that's
That'd be nice.
yeah, be nice for all of us. Yes.
Do you try to show them houses then before they sell, before they sign a
so
contract?
again, is a seller's market. So if I have you and you're a buyer and I have to sell your house for you to have the money, it's contingent upon your house sale. So why would I take you when I have 8 other contracts who are ready to go,
Oh, sure.
have cash, you know,
Sure.
so it's a hard,
And you qualify that.
yeah,
You make sure they have the cash.
yeah, I see
How
the
do you
cash.
do that?
Proof of,
Statements?
yeah,
Bank
bank statements with their account numbers crossed out. You know, I don't want to see their account numbers and all that, but it has to have their name on it, you know, and we have to have proof of funds, you know, not, and in fact,
Is that sufficient to look at statements?
yeah. In fact, I had one the other day, and they said they wanted to do a by owner, and I said, well, the only difference between you and me is that I have been doing this for so long. I have no problem with asking them for proof of funds. You're a homeowner. You're talking to a home buyer.
You don't even know how to start.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, "Who are you?" I have the cash, you know. But they always say it's bad because my buyers aren't liars. But they always do say when you're, you know, as sellers go, buyers are liars. You need proof. And so I was telling them, I was telling them, yeah, you need that proof.
We have similar sayings. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to repeat them here.
Yeah. Rated PG. We beam TB. Although, yeah, I don't know. I think you can say anything, but you know, yeah. But you're with the buy owner though. I was like, you know, we as a realtor, you can ask for
How does a buy
proof.
owner even advertise their house?
Well, I don't want to tell them how to advertise their house, but I'm just kidding.
I mean, can you just put a sign? Because
Yeah, they put a sign
It's so
in.
competitive.
Yeah.
You have the MLS, right?
Yeah, we have MLS, and then
Which is unique.
Yeah, MLS where, you know, and basically the access to advertise your house all through the United States too. So if I'm listing your house, you know, it's on Hot Pads, it's on Realtor.com, it's on Zillow,
DuPont?
it's on.
To go to the DuPont site?
Um,
Some of those exclusive houses
yeah,
go onto
yeah.
those.
Yeah, if you
those
have the
sites?
higher end, higher end. You know, it just depends, but it depends on what you're selling too. So if it's, you know, if it's a 3-bedroom, 2 baths, and the median income like 230 or 260, you probably don't have to put it to New York or anywhere.
Right.
You know, it's going to sell fast. But if you do, then you have more of a frenzy on it. You know, and I know how to get that frenzy going. Like I've had customers tell me how to do it, and I tell them, I'll listen to you. We'll do what you want to do. But if we don't get more than one offer right now, let's market, we did it wrong. And then I get to do what I want to do. And they say, okay, so we shake on it. Then we do and it sits there. We get one offer. It's a low ball. And then I get to take control.
And why would anyone make a low ball offer
Yeah, I don't
in this
know.
market?
I don't know.
They know that's not going to work.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're like, it's not worth it. So I'm going to put a lower.
Paper.
I know. Yeah, and I've put a lot. I feel like as a buyer's agent too, they're learning. So I'll say, well, we're probably not going to get it because they already have 3 offers, but I'll write it up. So I write it all up. It gets rejected. I say it didn't work, and they go,
it didn't
work. Oh, next one, it didn't work. And then by the third one, they're like, you know, they really want it. Let's put 5,000 over, or like we were talking on the way in, let's put a escalation clause up to this amount. You know,
Which is something that I'd never heard of until just recently.
yeah.
It's kind of like back during the crisis when we were doing short sales.
Yeah.
Who ever heard of a short sale before the crisis?
Yeah, exactly.
That was something new that, and I hear now that realtors are starting to get educated on short sales again.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
In anticipation
Of the market.
this changing?
Yeah. Because, well, the rumor is that there's going to be loads of foreclosures. And so everybody's on this edge of their seat. Is there going to be loads of, and if they put out, that would change the whole, you know, the seller's market.
Sure
It
would.
then,
Well,
yeah, it
there'd
would
be more
change.
supply.
Yeah. As soon as the supply's up, then everything changes. That's why when I do have a seller, I'm like, now's the time. If you really want it, every last single penny out of your house, now's the best time to sell.
I was Saturday. I was just driving down the street, and there was an open house in my neighborhood. And I thought, well, just out of curiosity, I'd drive by there and see what's going on. There were 10 cars.
Yeah.
I kid you not, 10 cars, and I've never seen anything like this at this open house. And the people were
Where they
hustling to get into the
Yeah.
house. They were in a hurry to get out of their cars and get into this
Yeah.
house to look at it. So I imagine that there wasn't an open house the next day, so I suppose they wrote a contract on it that day.
Oh, they probably got about I mean, my average right now is 8 offers on every house I list. That's the average. So if you list it right and you listen to your realtor and they put you, so say your house is worth 500,000 and you say, you know what, my neighbors, my house, because it's my house, it's the best house in the neighborhood because it's mine.
Sure.
So it's 500,000, but I think they're going to overbid it for 530. So put it out for 530. Well, that's not how you think. If your house is worth 500,000 and it's going to appraise for 500,000, you put it out for 500,000 and the chances of you getting a bidding war is high and the chances of it going over the 500,000 is high. But if you put it out at 530 because your neighbor, you know, you have this, and this, and you've done your own valuation, you're going to get less offers. You might get like 2 offers. I mean, they still might be good, valid offers, but as a realtor, you put it out there, and then when the appraiser comes back in, if you've overvalued it and you have to ask for cash, you know that I didn't ask you for that extra money. You know what I mean? You chose to bid extra, therefore you must have the extra cash to go.
Right.
You know, that's kind of how you justify it with the buyer, because the buyer has to have that extra cash just in case the house doesn't appraise out.
Sure. They need to understand that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they really shouldn't be making that offer.
Right. Yeah.
But you have backup offers, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. But none of the backup offers, I mean, they've all been very nice and checked on the house and stuff. But even when I had one, the appraisal was 15,000 under, but I also had an appraisal waiver. So they called and said,
What's that?
Basically stating that if it doesn't.
Oh, it's going to be a cash sale?
No, it was a mortgage, but they'd fill the gap. So if it doesn't appraise out and we're 20,000 under,
had the
you have to
money.
bring the cash to, and again, you have to verify they have the proof of funds and make sure. So if they have that appraisal warranty, appraisal waiver, then I know they're good to go. You know, they're ready. They still do come to you though and say it didn't appraise out, and you're like, remember this?
It's
you know?
okay.
Yeah. My sellers.
We're prepared.
Yeah. As a seller's agent, but you have to make sure there's 2,000 new licensees a month right now in the state of
Realtors?
Florida. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. So you have to make sure your realtor knows what they're doing. So just because you have your license doesn't mean you know to ask for this appraisal, waiver. Doesn't mean that you know about escalation clauses. So just to make sure, because you could be losing 5,000, 10,000 if your realtor's like, well, this house is never going to appraise out for that. And then, John Smith only has $1,300 extra. You just wasted 30 days, you know what I mean? That 15, 20, 30 days with,
Well, you could have gotten another offer.
Right, exactly.
That was within the market.
Yeah, and then when you put it back out, people are like, what's wrong with it? Why was it,
Is that something that
They still,
that they keep up with?
Yeah.
They follow that?
Well, if it
Their
comes
buyers
back
that
on the
follow
market,
that?
it'll say back on market, and then the buyers will say, why is it back on market? But literally that's where I get a lot of my buyers jump right in there,
I had a client, if you want, we can touch about it next
Yeah,
segment.
we'll take like just a 2-second break. We'll be right back. Thanks, guys. Hi, I'm Jessie Walters from Charles Rutenberg. Welcome back. We're here today with Steve Williams, attorney at law, and we're discussing pretty much everything, but a lot of good information here. And I want to thank Nightberry Title Services for our sponsorship, and of course, Dylan Gaston from from the mortgage firm. Sorry, I'm reading that at the same time. Yeah, so there's our sponsors.
There she
Thanks,
is.
guys. Yeah. There's
Nice
Dylan's good
lady.
picture. Yeah, she's a sweetheart. Yeah, so we were talking, just about the bidding wars and knowing what you're doing and all that, just
Speaking
basically.
of that, I was going to tell you, I had a client call me the other day. She has a condo down in Clearwater that she's doing Airbnb with.
Okay.
So the condo association said, according to our documents, you can't move anyone in without us getting approval, and they've been dragging their feet on the approval process
Right.
because they don't like the Airbnb.
Right.
So she decided she was going to sell it herself. She just got fed up and says, "I'm going to sell it." And
Uh-oh.
so she listed over market,
Yeah.
like $10,000 over market. She said that she'd gotten 300 visits, whatever site she listed it on. That, FSBO folks,
Right.
for sale by owner folks can list on, and like 300 views, but not a single call. So she did that for about a week or two, and she broke down and says, "Well, I'm going to hire a realtor."
Right. Yeah.
So she hired a realtor. So that's my
Yeah, your
that's
take
my
on for
story
sale by
about, yeah,
owners.
for sale by owner. Yes. And
Yeah.
this is a smart person, physician,
Yeah.
well educated, been in the business world for a while. Has several rental properties and commercial and residential, and that was her
That was her
experience
take on.
trying to sell it.
Yeah, I went out to one, and they're friends of mine, and they said we know we're smart enough, and we know we know that we can figure it out. And I told them, because they're friends, I said I'll help you if you have questions and stuff like that. But there's these sites that say that they'll list it on the MLS, and it's a flat fee, like $100. Well, you're not getting. You're not obviously getting service. You're not getting multiple listings. And as a realtor, if you see a listing and it has 0 commission on it, even if there's a low commission, I've had a lot of calls. Sometimes you'll have family members and you have to do like a cut rate commission, and they'll call and say, "Is this commission serious? Is this a serious?" So like if you're this is what people do for a living. If you're on a for sale by owner and you're trying to push that, and you're not offering any compensation for them writing up the contract, them making sure that the buyer is ready to go, and the whole process, because I think when you look at it, as we were saying, a lot of people just think it's easy and it's just anyone could do it, but until you're in there and you're thrown in, you don't know. Like if you have a well and septic, you don't know what a water test is. If you have a just weird things that you don't know, that like you said, like on that condo, she's selling it prior to an approval. So she's literally, if she's selling it as a bread and breakfast, then that's a problem. You know what I mean? So.
Well, she's kind of given up on the.
Oh, she did. Okay.
the Airbnb.
Okay, good.
Because that didn't.
Yeah,
the
pan
condo
out.
association didn't. Very, very popular.
Yeah.
In
Oh,
Clearwater.
Oh, yeah.
Close to the beach.
Yeah.
No problems getting bookings. The problems with the condo association. They just weren't. They didn't like the
Yeah.
Airbnb, the short-term tenancy.
Yeah.
I wonder where. Now she's client of the office, and so she's been around lawyers for a long time. I don't know where the average person who sells their own house would even get a contract.
Yeah, I know. Exactly.
And how would they know to escrow? What would they do with the deposit?
They used to have it at the like Office Depot. They used to have like a contract, but it doesn't.
It's
You're
not
not.
the
Yeah.
Florida bar.
Yeah, exactly. You're
or
not
the-
selling your house as is. There's a whole bunch of different issues where you're selling your house. You found this contract, and now you're literally, if you read some of them, you're warranting.
Yeah.
You're giving home warranties. You're
Yeah.
giving 3% termite allowance. All these
Yeah.
repair allowances up to
Yeah.
1.5%.
Yeah.
Your house, all this stuff that you're signing, but you don't know, and that's a legal document. Whether you're,
Sure is.
whether you think
Yeah.
whether you know what you're doing or not.
Yeah,
Ignorance
you're-
is not a defense. So that's
That's a good point.
it's true.
My neighbor sold their boat lot that they had, and they did it between themselves, and didn't even bother to get a title search, and the seller had a lot of judgments against him.
Oh no.
So,
Oh.
so he gives him the money and transfers the deed, and the seller has an addiction problem.
Oh no.
So it's not like the buyer's ever going to get his money back from the seller.
Oh no, it's
so
all
now
gone.
so now the seller goes to resell, because in this market, it's just unbelievable. It's just
Yeah.
this boat lot that's like 10 by 15. I mean, it's practically nothing. Just
Yeah.
big enough to stick a dock on long ways out into the water.
Right.
And the price it's selling for is unbelievable. But the folks now are finding that they've got all kinds of problems to deal with these judgments.
Right, to pay
that
off
they
all
have
these
to pay,
judgments.
Yeah, to get clear title.
So did you know, like, we had this on, because a lot of new realtors will ask questions and stuff like that. And I know that if you have a lien on a property, say a contractor's lien, and you're trying to get it off so that you can sell your property, you can put up a bond, right?
Yeah.
and then secure that lien with the bond? How does that work?
No, I've never done that. Mechanics liens are interesting, an interesting area of the law, and quite frankly, it's not something that I've done with in a long time. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be the one to
I just
probably
heard
give
of
good
it.
advice on that.
I heard of it only because I had walked in the title company and I'm nosy, so I was just listening to someone's issue, and that's
But,
exactly how I learned.
You know, to get a bond though, say the contractor's lien is $30,000.
Yeah.
I know that the contractor, if they're successful in collecting that lien, and they hire a lawyer, they're entitled to be paid their legal fees
Right.
in addition to the amount of the lien.
Right.
Which really makes contractors' liens, that area of the law, scary if it's not something that you do, because if you don't know that, then you can contest this contractor's lien, because you say that, okay, you go out and your contractor doesn't do the job the way you think they should do it, or no, make matters worse. Your contractor finishes the job, but then a material meant somebody who sold the contractor some materials didn't get paid,
Right.
and they filed the lien.
Right. Right.
And you think, well, how could that be? I paid my contractor.
Right.
Well, now this person that sold them the materials, you may have to pay twice.
Right.
And if you don't pay twice, you may have to not only pay twice, but you may have to pay legal fees. So but getting back to the bonding company is going to want collateral equal to the amount of the bond if they have to pay the bond.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true
So they're
too.
going to
Yep.
analyze, the risk, because that's what a bond is risk.
Right.
If when I have an estate, the judge may say, okay, the personal representative has to have a bond in the amount of $100,000. Well, and we'll go to the company that writes our bonds, and they'll do a background search on that personal representative, and they'll want to know, okay, well, what's going to happen to the assets? So
Right.
we tell them that the assets are going to be put into our trust account. They're going to be put into a trust account, and 2 signatures on it, so that the personal representative can't take the money out, because that assures the bonding company that the risk of loss is minimal.
Right.
So if say you've got this bond that you're talking about, you've got the contractor that files the lien, they've got a real strong case.
Yeah.
The bonding company has to assess the strength of that case to determine how much the premium should be for the bond,
Right.
because that's all. Bonding is just an insurance policy.
Right.
And
Right.
insurance is about assessing risk, right? So if the lien is $30,000, you may have to put up collateral sufficient to secure a bond equal to the amount of the lien,
Right. And so,
because
so
the
if you're
bond is going to pay the lien.
right. So if you're a seller, so you release that lien, now you got the bond,
But you
but you got to secure the bond anyway,
Yes,
though.
yes.
Yeah, it's true. I didn't think of that.
So what if who's ever putting up that bond needs to really assess the strength of the contractor's case
Right.
before they do that, because I can't imagine how a bonding company would expose themselves to risks
Yeah.
without having sufficient collateral to cover that risk.
Yeah, true. Yeah, the one that I had heard of was
Like when we bailed you out from jail
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah.
We had a bond. We had to put up a bond
yeah,
to get
for like
you out,
$2 million,
right?
of course.
Yeah. So I mean, it was your rich uncle that paid the bond to get you out,
That
right?
rich uncle, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, your husband said let you stay, but
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
but your rich uncle's the one that bailed you out, and he had to put up money equal to the amount of the bond.
Right.
Because if you fled,
Yeah.
somebody's got to pay the bond.
Yeah, just sign over my rich uncle's house.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the one I had heard was title company, and the gentleman had a lien. He decided not to pay the contractor, so he didn't pay the contractor, the homeowner. So it's the opposite. So the contractor put the lien on his house
Yeah.
if he was ever to sell it. So then
Yeah.
now he's selling. So the seller then took a bond out against his lien, so he could release the liability of the lien. You know what I mean? So it was
Now,
kind of the opposite, but
And I do know the lien expires in a year.
Yeah,
if
you have to
it's
keep
not-
putting them
if
on.
it's not foreclosed
right.
on within the year.
Yeah.
I do know that. But that bond that you're talking about, think of the cost of it.
Yeah, just pay your bill, and by the time you're done.
Well, the problem with those not the problem, but the concern with contractors' liens is that you've got to assess the strength of the contractor's case.
Right.
Because if you think that the contractor's case is strong, then you're just subjecting yourself to not only having to pay the amount of the lien,
Right.
but the legal fees, and those go up
Right.
quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. We were talking about that too. I mean, everybody has an attorney, then the court costs and all that. Nothing is free.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
needs to
you
get paid for their time.
You get experts in on
Yeah.
on these cases.
Hmm.
No.
Yeah,
that's
that adds up quickly.
So that, to me, if you're going to get into that bonding situation, you probably need to look at the risk and
Yeah.
what the bond is. But if it facilitated the sale, that's what counts.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in my business, I just tell people how to make it happen, but I'm not like obviously an
Yeah.
attorney. So I'll just say, I know of this. I don't know the whole like repercussions, of what could happen or, with it. But I know that if you want to release it, you could do this,
All I know is you just want the sale to close.
Yeah.
Just when's the sale closing? Lawyer, make it
When's the
happen.
closing date? Yeah.
Lawyer, make it happen. Just close.
I'm always like,
Right?
are you done yet? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I am famous for, good morning, good news only, please. Can I get an update?
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah.
say, well, I'm sorry, we can't respond to this if you only want good news. And I say, okay, well, then please don't respond. No response is what.
Respond when you have good news.
Yeah, get back to me, then I'll give you more time. Yeah. But yeah, I do like to hear the good, like the good news for my, my
Yeah,
sellers
more
and
importantly
my buyers.
we're going to close on time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
that's good. Yeah, definitely. Because then it turns into, as soon as you don't close on time, then you have the sellers who are extending and they're mad, and then the buyers are, depending on who's.
Well, and think of the buyer who has sold their house, who has their furniture in the
and
moving
U-Haul
van,
truck. Yeah. Yeah.
and they're at
exactly.
closing.
Yeah.
and there's a problem.
Yeah, I had one. I
never
sold,
had that happen.
Yeah.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, I had one that had. This is probably 8 years ago. No, maybe 10 years ago, and it was a bank. I won't actually. I shouldn't probably say the name of the bank, but everything was clear, and then the last minute, it was a bank foreclosure. I was selling it, so it was a great deal. People are all excited. We signed the paperwork, title company, everything's done. It was a cash deal. Money's been sent. It was like $330,000. So back 10 years ago, it was, a nice house, 3-car garage, really. And so everybody's.
Back then, that was a nice house.
Yeah. So, and everybody's moving their stuff in, get a call from a title company. We found they can't, the bank sent a message that don't give them the keys because we have to just hold the money in escrow. They haven't cleared the whole everything off of it, but the title work was done, so it didn't make any sense. But they said there's this one thing they have to clear. The house isn't free and clear, so we'll just have to stop the closing. But we'd already done the closing. People were already moving in the house.
Oh my
and I was
goodness.
like, oh my gosh, my head's gonna explode. Yeah, it was like very stressful.
So how that
It turned
worked
out happy. Yeah,
That worked out.
it took like almost 2 months for them to get clear
my
though.
goodness.
But thank goodness the people that were moving in lived close, had a home that was in the family that they could
Oh.
stay at and stuff like that. And then when their stuff was in there, I just was like, I can't see anything. I've got,
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was so stressful. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
sometimes.
a tough situation.
Yeah. Sometimes things like that happen. I mean, I've been in.
Rare.
Yeah.
Rare.
Yeah. Usually very rare, but you just
But
don't.
real estate is so much commotion at the
Yeah.
last minute. It's
Moving
just,
parts,
It's
yeah.
just tradition. It's just the norm.
Yeah.
Very stressful.
Yeah, it is. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I could do your job when we start. I always want to be a realtor. And then at the end, they say, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
I just don't know. Because they'll call 10 o'clock, crying or whatever it is. I need this. And I'm like, well, let's, usually I can land on my feet and we can figure it out, And so I have a lot of realtors that are new in the business that call me at 10 o'clock at night too, and the same thing. We have the same exact thing going on,
Well, they want to close.
Yeah.
That's their
Yeah, and
sole goal.
Yeah, exactly. And right now too, like with so many new realtors coming on, I do say don't quit your day job though. Stay at your job because it's limited, you know what I mean? There's limited for sale, and if you're not getting the listings because you're new, then possibly maybe
Yeah,
stay
how
in
can
that.
you get them?
Yeah, well, you have to
Unless you're connected.
referral. Yeah, your referral business,
Yeah.
and that takes years to build up. Unless you're,
Can.
yeah.
Can.
I mean,
Yeah.
you can, there's a lot
Some
of
people just they're well connected when they
Yeah.
start off, but that's rare.
Yeah. And if you're highly motivated, you can do it, but you have to be self-motivated, just with any business, you know. I mean,
Your business has changed so much. I understand people now are making offers on houses with just video.
yeah.
Are you taking people in your
FaceTime.
car now? Are you to
I
show?
usually meet them because with COVID, I
Yeah,
never.
that's what I mean, because of COVID?
Yeah, because I would pick up a lot of, like, usually people like to drive themselves and meet you, and then they can take off and go to, you know, like dinner or whatever they're doing after. But I had like a lot of elderly people that would like me to take them places, but a lot of them have just stopped looking, or they'll show up by themselves, or, but you know, like they took a break where now they're back to, like, the open houses were all masks, and I
There
basically.
weren't open houses for a while.
Yeah, there wasn't,
People
yeah.
didn't want people in their houses.
Yeah, I did. I sold during the pandemic. I sold one FaceTime video of just walking through, and they're like, send an offer, you know. So I'm like, this is crazy.
I've
you
heard
know?
that's happening, and
Yeah.
I know there was a time, at least historically, when a realtor would put people into their car and take them to
Yeah,
4 or
house
5
to house
different
to house.
houses.
Yeah, I have a poor customer buyer, and he said, you know, last time I bought, you know, it was like 8 years ago, and she showed me all these houses, and
Right.
he's like, you're showing me something, but then I can't go get it because it's already under contract. Like, and I was like, well, it's not that I'm a bad realtor, it's just that there's nothing for sale, you know. And so as soon as you see it listed, we have to go right out. And which for realtors, you know, you may be having lunch with your family and something gets listed that day, and then you have to be able to say, we need to go right out. You
Wow.
know, my poor buyer has to get out there, you know, as soon as possible. So you drop what you're doing, you go out, you know, and then there's 8 other people out there in a line standing
Already there.
standing. Though there was one just close to here.
So they just pop up on your phone? Is that how?
Yeah,
it is?
it'll say
a new
0
listing?
days listing. Yeah.
A new listing will just pop up?
Yeah, zero days listing. It'll before it's even not even hit a day, and you want to get out there as soon as possible,
Sure.
you know, as a buyer's agent.
Sure.
But we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back in just a sec. Hang tight. Hi, welcome back. I'm Jessie Walters from Charles Rutenberg. I'm here today with Steve Williams, attorney, and we're just talking about the market, just basically everything, and anything that you want to talk about too, to advertise for yourself for what you do. And
Normally, the SPCA would be here. So
I know.
I'm taking up for them. So.
yeah, so we could give your dog
Yeah,
away. I already
yeah,
tried to get his
yeah.
dog because
No,
it looks
sorry.
looks better.
Duke's staying with me.
Yeah, he's your best friend.
That's right.
That was nice. Yeah, I have 2 dogs, and I was telling him I could trade the 2. One's a pit bull mix, and
Yeah.
one's a little Shorkie, a Shih Tzu Yorkie. I could trade those 2 because your
Yeah,
dog looks
not for my golden retriever. Sorry.
a little bit more stable than mine.
Sorry. Well, he's rambunctious, but
Yeah.
he's good natured.
Yeah, he's really pretty. I saw the picture. He's a really pretty dog. Yeah, so we were talking about by owners, and we were talking about just different things, talking about wills and trusts, and you know, just everything.
And one of we haven't talked about this, but one of my primary practices is personal injury.
Oh, okay.
And you drive a lot. I just want to get this is important. I just
Don't
want to
you
talk about
curse
this.
me. Yeah.
I just want to talk about this real quickly. There are a lot of folks out there. One of the things I do is I judge traffic court.
Right.
And have for the last 20 years. And I see in traffic court, there's a lot of tickets that come in for folks that don't have insurance. You'd be surprised how many people driving don't have insurance. And the only way to
it's scary.
protect yourself, Jessie, is to get what's called uninsured motorist.
Yeah.
Very important to get uninsured motorist.
I have uninsured motors.
If you don't have it, if you have any questions about your policy, I'll review it for you for free. Just come in, bring your insurance policy, your auto insurance policy. I'll take a look at it for you.
Oh,
but
that's
you
good
need
to know.
uninsured policy, uninsured motorist. So that's my
your
talk
plug.
about.
So what, we were talking about, they're going to change some different things. Did you see that? I mean, what's your...
I did. There's a bill passed that'll eliminate what's called PIP and property damage liability, and they're going to require what's called bodily injury liability in the amount of $25,000. That's the bill that's passed. It hasn't, the governor hasn't looked at it yet, from my understanding. I was just talking to somebody today about it this morning. And once it gets to him, once it gets on his desk is the phrase that they use, he has 15 days to decide whether or not he's going to sign it. He doesn't have to sign it for it to become law, but if he vetoes it, then it's not going to become law.
Okay.
I understand that there's a whole sort of a battle between the industries. Hospitals want PIP to continue. PIP is personal injury protection, which is basically health insurance for automobile accidents.
Right.
So if you get in a car crash, if it's a if you're employed, workers' comp is primary. Believe it or not,
Okay.
that's the exception to PIP. Otherwise, PIP is your first source for paying your medical expenses if you're in a car crash, which is a car crash can be a lot more than just sitting in your car getting hit. It's
Right.
it's kind of like throwing a pebble in a pond. The ripples go out.
Yeah.
So it's just the use, maintenance, or operation of a motor vehicle. So you could be working on your car and somebody hits you, and that's covered under PIP.
Oh, okay.
It's really pretty broad. But if you're, so they're talking about the bill would eliminate PIP. If you go to the emergency room, for example, I've seen, you know what a CAT scan is? Cheap test.
Right.
A few $100s.
Yeah.
If you went to a facility that does CAT scans, you could probably pay cash for one for $300.
Right.
Truly. I've seen them at the hospitals where they'll charge $16,000.
Yeah, I was going to say, probably starting at like three, yeah.
$16,000.
Jeez.
So there's you get, PIP is $10,000. That's what it is. That's all it is, $10,000, which was good back in the 70s when they started it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we were talking about houses.
Yeah, same thing.
These were just adjacent to us, houses that were built for $14,000 now are
Regency
selling
Park,
for
Embassy Hills.
yeah, sold
Jasmine
for
Lakes.
sold
Yeah.
now for a couple $100,000, $250,000. So $10,000 was a lot
relative.
of money back in
Yeah.
1972 when it started. Now, one test, a CAT scan,
That's it. You're done.
uses your entire $10,000. You haven't even gotten a bill yet from the emergency room. You haven't gotten a bill from the doctor that saw you at the emergency room.
Yeah.
If you had an IV put in, if you had x-rays, none of those other bills have even come in. Your $10,000 is gone. So the $10,000 is probably outdated. The $25,000 of mandatory bodily injury liability is probably preferable, but the hospitals still want to, they're one of the industries that wants to maintain PIP, because at least that gives them the first $10,000.
Like your deductible, kind of, right?
Well, it's like,
Your health insurance, or
well, it covers the uninsured portion of the population.
right.
So instead of if it goes to mandatory bodily injury liability, then you could potentially have a large segment of the population that doesn't have any insurance when they walk into the emergency room.
Right. Yeah, because it's
mandatory
supposed to.
BI is not going to be paid for medical bills necessarily.
Right.
So right now, the hospital, the emergency room, as soon as you walk in, 2 days later, a bill goes out to Allstate, for example. They get paid in 30 days. It's a pretty efficient system for the hospital. If there's mandatory bodily injury liability, they may not get paid for a year.
Oh, wow.
They may not get paid at all.
Oh, yeah, because
depending
they're
on-
negotiating and all that stuff. Oh, yeah.
depending
I
on
didn't
just
think of
how the
that.
scenario works out.
Right.
So they're anti the new bill, and we've had a governor that, quite frankly, is he may run for re-election for governor. He has some pretty stiff competition, or he may run for president. Who
Yeah,
knows?
true.
If he runs for president, then it won't make any difference what he does with this bill. But if he runs for governor, then he's going to want the backing of the hospitals. He's going to want the backing of the Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
And those are very powerful groups that want PIP to continue.
Right.
So hopefully the bill.
Why? What's the draw to put the bill into place though? Who is who does it better? Are they
Well,
just-
there's with the current bill that's in place right now, doesn't require people to have mandatory bodily injury liability, the law.
Right.
So to get your car registered, when you go to register your car, to get your tag, to get the little sticker that goes on the tag, you have to tell Mike Fasano,
Right, they have
who's
proof
the
of
guy.
insurance, right?
But what insurance do you have to show? You have to show that you have bodily and property damage liability.
Right,
That pays to fix somebody else's property that's caused by your negligence.
right.
So if you hit somebody's fence, it pays to fix their fence or their car.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have PIP. That's all you have to get your car
Right,
titled
and
to
this is
drive in
adding,
the state.
yeah, okay, got you.
Mandatory bodily injury liability. So you're sitting in a red light, you get hit by somebody, and all they have is the basic,
Right.
which is property damage, pays to fix your car, and they only have to have $10,000 of that.
Yeah,
So
true.
you're driving a fancy car, and maybe your property damage is more than that. What do you do then?
Yeah, true.
And they have personal injury protection, which pays to pay their medical bills
Right.
if they're hurt. But without bodily injury liability, there's no money to pay for the injuries to your body.
Right.
This bill will require bodily injury liability.
And then
Now, the trade-off is the people that are getting bodily injury liability, the $25,000, the thought is that some of that will be used to pay medical bills, but it will also be used to pay for injuries to the body.
Right. So a lot of people are complaining because they feel like it's gonna put the insurance policies where they can't obtain them, and then more people will be uninsured. Is that what the other complaint side?
Well,
is?
the folks that are promoting mandatory bodily injury liability have done some studies, and I've seen these studies, and the studies show that auto insurance will actually go down with the mandatory bodily injury liability, as opposed to the system that we have now, because there's so much, I hate to say fraud, but there's so much abuse of the
Yeah,
PIP
true.
system, like our $16,000 CAT scan.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because then they use it as negotiation. You get 50% off. It makes you feel good, but then you were overcharged over 100% anyway.
This system that we have now, maybe mandatory bodily injury liability is not the panacea. Maybe it's not the perfect solution, but the system that we have now, and I can tell you I work in it every day, is not a good system.
Yeah.
You have physicians that are, if I could give anybody some advice on if they're in a crash, if you're bleeding, if you have broken bones, that's the purpose of the emergency room.
Yeah.
If you can avoid the emergency room, go to a walk-in clinic. That's a much better use of your funds,
Right.
in my opinion, than, and I'm not giving medical advice, but that's
Yeah.
a much better practical use of your money than getting in an ambulance and riding to the emergency
Yeah,
room
'cause right
and
there-
being told at the emergency room after getting the $16,000 CAT scan, being told, oh, well, you have a sprained neck.
Yeah.
Well, you could have gone to a walk-in clinic,
Yeah, they do
gotten
the
the
same
same
stuff, yeah.
diagnosis for maybe $750.
Yeah, exactly.
Much, much better use of your limited funds. So when you're at the scene of the accident, you want to get treated. It's important that you get treated. You need to go within
And you have time.
14 days.
Yeah, I was going to say
to
you have
go.
that time to get to that walk-in clinic
Yes,
too.
and you've got time to think about it.
I
I'd
feel
say
like
go
you
to the
don't-
clinic the same day.
Yeah, because you don't really feel beat up till the next day.
Well, you're full of
you know.
adrenaline.
Yeah.
And the adrenaline is masking a lot of the pain. And it's just like if you have surgery. When you walk out of surgery, you feel great.
Yeah.
But when the adrenaline and the anesthetic wears off,
Yeah.
you start to hurt.
Right, right.
So that's typical. That happens a lot with these crashes. You get sometimes you get an injury to your spine, to a disc in your spine, and you're so excited from the adrenaline that you don't notice that your fingers are going numb.
Yeah.
But you notice it the next day when you go to pick up a glass and you drop the glass.
Right, true.
And that's when you need to get treatment. But you should get checked out, I think, the same day that you have the traumatic event,
Yeah.
whatever it is, just to make sure that something isn't overlooked. But consider whether or not you should get checked out at the emergency room.
Yeah, and
and
I
if
guess
you can avoid
it's
it,
better to
do
have
that.
like a plan and set in your mind at least, you know.
Well, and that's what we're talking about.
Exactly, yeah.
If your emergency rooms are great for strokes, heart attacks,
Yeah, broken arm.
broken
or like-
arms,
Yeah.
bad cuts,
Right.
that they're ideal for that. But for the person that's that doesn't have those injuries, they're probably not ideal.
Right.
They're just too expensive.
Yeah, true.
Especially we have a trauma center here in town that's very, very expensive.
Yeah.
So it's something to be mindful of.
Right. Yeah. And you're actually seeing the bills. So if anybody knows, it's you.
I see the bills.
Without naming anybody.
I see the bills.
Yeah.
I see the bills.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have that plan ahead of time. So you're just like that is good advice. So yeah, I don't know what will happen with, if DeSantis
So we're going to know.
sign or
We're
not.
going to know in the next couple months.
Yeah.
If this is going to be, it's going to be determined in the next couple months. And right now, from what I understand, the folks up in Tallahassee that get paid to lobby for these different groups are doing their job.
Yeah.
Each side is working as hard as they can to convince.
make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why. Well, because I try to, as a non-biased, you know what I mean, opinion, or because as a realtor, I don't think you should give your. I mean, people want to hear your opinion, but I don't think that they
do
appreciate your opinion as far as if you are totally one-sided. You have to kind of be broad spectrum to kind of.
Well, I think if you can explain both sides of the issue, then let folks make up their minds.
Right, exactly.
It's interesting that just the way the system's set up, because you had the legislature, the two houses, the House and the Senate up in Tallahassee, and they came together, which they haven't done since. Gosh, they've been probably trying to do this for 20 years now. They finally came together. They passed this bill, and it's kind of like now after the bill's been passed, now there's this next opportunity to keep it from getting passed.
Right.
So it was passed, and it didn't work stopping it in the Congress.
Right.
Now there's an opportunity still to get the governor not to pass it.
Yeah.
So it's a new battle.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
which is interesting.
Yeah, it is. I wouldn't want their job, so I mean, mine's stressful enough. I don't imagine what theirs is like.
Well, think of somebody's not going to win.
Yeah, I know.
And that's where the stress is going to be. Yeah.
Some unhappy people for sure.
And there'll be another side celebrating, and that makes the unhappy even more unhappy.
Yeah, exactly. Or pretend that they were on the other side. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and in your office, so you do the as we were talking about car crashes and you do personal injury. What else do you guys do in there?
Well, we do medical malpractice. We do bankruptcy.
Okay.
The office has been open since 1972, so we do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so you
wills, automobile accidents, bankruptcy. Well, let me do this here. Because you put me on the spot.
Yeah.
Wills, trust, probate. We do.
Yeah, I was like probate.
We've been doing bankruptcy now for 33 years, which was really, really busy up until about 2 years ago, or about actually when COVID started. Believe it or not, bankruptcy stopped because of or slowed down because of
all the equity in the houses.
Well,
people are
all the funds that the government's pumped into the system.
Oh yeah.
People, even though they're not working, their bills are still getting paid, and that's when bankruptcy gets really, really popular. Is when the bubbles bust.
Right.
And we've been talking about it during the breaks. I mean, there's a bubble out there.
Yeah. Yeah, and everybody asked me like crystal ball, when do you think the foreclosures are going to start? I'm like, I mean, I think as in our industry, a lot of people say September, but I can't see them being.
Rates aren't going down.
Yeah, that's what I say. Unless interest rate starts going up, you won't see the momentum stop. The interest rates have to go up. I mean, the wood prices have gone through the roof. It's still
and they're coming
still
down
going.
a little bit.
Yeah. All the stuff's still going though. All the stuff that could possibly slow down our
still
industry.
Up from what I hear.
Yeah.
I would think that one of the biggest problems is labor.
Yeah.
At least from what I hear.
You see the sign-on bonuses even at just local restaurants and stuff. We're trying to get people to work and stuff.
Yeah.
But
very big complaint from small businesses not being able to get people.
Well, like our complaint is so say you want to buy a house I've listed and the seller's taking the washer and dryer, you're not going to get a washer and dryer for months.
I hear that. Is that true?
And that is true. And you know what the worst part is? I won't say who, but you may go online and order a washer and dryer and just say, "Oh, I got a washer and dryer." Nobody else has thought of going online. So you got it, and then it'll say your delivery date, and then it'll send you a new message the next day and say, your delivery date has changed. And so you get back ordered a couple months. Yeah. So it was like 2 months, excuse me. But now Now, some of my customers are saying 3 months, so they won't give up the washer and dryer. It doesn't matter if they're 20 years old. They're like, I want to keep my washer and dryer. I don't blame them.
Wow. Well, that's something. If your refrigerator breaks down, then isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I told my husband, I'm like, maybe we should put it online and order it because it was making a noise, but then just cancel it right before because
Just
if
in
it breaks,
Just in case.
yeah, we look like the psycho washer dryer. My dryer acts, I mean, it's brand new too, and I've had them out twice, and it's still acting up, and I'm like, maybe I should just keep ordering
Get
it,
one,
cancel.
just in case?
Yeah, keep it in the garage. I don't know. Just being paranoid, but I don't want to have to go to the laundromat. So maybe I'm being smart. I don't know.
That's interesting you say that. I almost had to go to the laundromat this week. We had a flood in the house.
Oh,
that,
no.
Almost sent us there, yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show. Keeping
Yes.
insurance for flood and
Yes.
in your
gosh.
house and you're not in the flood zone.
Yeah, yeah, people don't realize
Yeah. Yeah.
how common floods happen.
Yeah, it's true.
And the fraud. I've done a lot of cases involving casualty losses that were caused by fraud.
Oh, wow.
Fires, floods.
Oh, wow.
The insurance companies are really astute when it comes to
The fraud on it.
paying
Oh,
on casualty losses.
that's good. That is good to know. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. We
pleasure.
really appreciate you for
Thanks for
coming
having
on.
me.
And we'll bug you again so you come back.
Good.
So thanks, everybody. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you next week.